Yeah, sure. Okay. Can I maybe a couple minutes?
Go.
I just realized how crazy we look. Just in the middle of the street.
This whole process has been crazy and bananas and like totally way more than we signed up for. And I feel like one unique moment that like I have sort of alone is when we got the unit. At first we had sort of like begged this guy to like give us this unit, and he had agreed to like let us clean it all out if he could keep the shelves. And it was this whole like crazy like hour of just like trying to make it work. And I had spent a couple weeks like going to these storage unit auctions and being like, who is involved in this industry and whose units are these and who are the people that buy them, and having all these questions about like all of the different characters that are actually just involved in the storage unit business. And I had this moment as we were like sealing the deal with this dude where this woman had run up to us and she was like, excuse me, I am looking for somebody who had unit like 339B. And I was like, I don't know, we're like here for this crazy art project. And she was like, it's my unit, I need to get to the person who bought it. And I was like, maybe the people indoors talking to the auctioneer know. And she was like, do you remember during the auction seeing a unit, there was a big farmhouse table in it and a bunch of boxes and a green couch? And I was like, yes, I do remember that unit. We bought the unit across the way. I know who got that unit. It's that older couple who I've seen at all of the different auctions. Go talk to them. And she was like, thank you so much. That's my unit. I'm the person who owns it. And she had to like, she realized that she would have to forfeit it. Like she got the notification, so she had to show up at the auction, and she didn't get there in time. And she like needed cash to pay for her own unit. And she was like, oh my God, I don't have enough cash. So she had to run to the ATM and get it, but they wouldn't like put it on.
Diversity, inclusion, and we're facing a lot of moral and ethical questions in this project, which you'll see on the wall out back by Dana's beautiful display. Please take a couple of minutes, if you will, read through some of those questions. Feel free to respond to them. There are lock boxes back there you could put your comments on anonymously or talk to us. We want to make sure that we're doing this openly, honestly, and with an eye to honor the individual that has given us this incredible wealth of interest. So again, thank you so much for coming here and supporting our art. We have a sign-up list that's over by James. If you're interested in following the project, it's going to take us a while. We're going to take these objects, we're going to be doing some workshops to devise. We have some local writers that will be assisting us in this process. So really, you're helping us shape this piece, this neighborhood, these objects, these people. So please sign up, stay on top of it with us, and tell us what you need from us and what you want to see, because that's going to help make it what it is. Again, thank you so much for coming. Please sign up and stay on top of it with us. We're excited.
And also, if any of you know anyone who like would want to be interviewed for a project like this, like has a story about stuff, has a story about storage or losing your stuff, send them our way. We're happy to talk and gather more stories.
Spring 2020.
Yes.
Or late winter 2020.
What's happening in Portland, and sort of the idea of like, what are our rights to stuff, to our homes and to our things, and who owns what at what point.
And so for the first part of the sort of like writing, devising section, and I think you're pretty familiar with devising. You posted a lot of work with Chhouk with that. Yeah, for sure. So we're going to have 3 workshops. Those, so like we'll talk about that in a second. And so they'll be led by a company member. So JJ, James and Carrie.
Enumeration is a collection of objects found in storage unit 5549.
All identifying information has been redacted to protect the privacy of the individual who previously owned the unit, given the alias V. When exploring the items left in the unit, I was curious about the history of public and private life that have been carefully preserved in 10-foot-tall stacks. Magazines, newspapers, advertisements ranging all the way from 1974 to the early 2000s. Through the process of unboxing this unit, questions arise. Did V ever read the materials that they packed away? Were these items saved for a purpose or a project? Is there any common thread between each of these items? The experience that most stood out to me during the process of creating storage so far has been during one of our movement-based devising projects, where one of our movers started to use one of the objects that we had found in the storage unit in exactly the same way that someone had in a previous production, something that they weren't even aware of. So people are coming in, seeing these items for the first time and interacting with them in similar ways. It creates a common language for us to be able to work together to continue to create the project and see where it takes us.
There wasn't one 15 minutes ago.
Fruit bags into a sort of quilt while humming, wordlessly singing along to the song. This cumulative action persists for a moment, before the song reaches its climax and fade out and steps forth into the interstitial space.
Both riches and endemic, almost metaphysical, avoiding any guilt. They're swimming around in my objects, my art, my sculptures, my magazines, my jars of thread, my ledgers, my bags of glass, my piles, my life.
The river valleys of each pelvic wing guiding the wandering, exultant eye to the single, unifying, mysterious haunt of the belly button.
Adam and Eve did not have navels. It is a sign of our fall from grace that we have such There's no need to be bashful here. Me. I love that, I don't know what we're gonna do, you're a director, but the fact that it's blank stage, and this reads like a letter, like a
That
gift.
could just be
Those are things that really
clarity.
projected on the set before people, as people are coming in.
It hadn't found a piece yet, and it was when we first got to Sydney and we were just kind of sifting through some stuff, I found one of it wasn't the Saint Anthony Messengers, but it was one of those religious pamphlet things talking about sexuality in the human body, and that's what informed a lot of Scene Alpha. But one thing that we had talked about after having done the 12-step thing in Sydney and in the other workshops was that we fucked up. Not everyone was able to always be in rhythm. You'd get it for a little while, and then you'd think about it, and you'd fall out of it.
We're talking about 12 steps, what we do. Okay.
How personal is this? Is this personal to me or personal to this person that I've never met? And so I think I've gone back and forth between feeling so confronted with really personal items and feeling this kind of conjuring of the person who had the unit before we acquired it. And then at other times, through different activities, by the way we've interacted with the items, taking them to different places, repurposing them, and really, truly playing with them in a way that I haven't felt like I've played in a long time, that has, like, in so many ways really removed the previous owner. And then it's much more about a thing and an object, separated from its history with a human owner. And so, but now today, it's kind of tying back together as like I'm reading things I've never read before, and so I'm really kind of juggling like what are the personal aspects, because it's very personal, and is it more about me or us, like Bear Portland, or this other person? And there's so many stories here, nonfiction and fictional roots, so I'm really excited to see what directions we continue to go in.
Take a walk! If you stepped out of line, blah! Somebody freaking...
Anticipated feature interview with Fox News.
And prep school kinky pinky.
Absolutely unusual. My art is my own. What I'm...
Hey! That's your shit too, genius.
Noon. Seizures. Sex.
Play. Bathe.
Nap. Try to read.
Love that. I think we're off to a good start.
Can I ask like a random question?
Yeah.
Did the cheese get a lot of votes?
It did.
More than anyone.